What's good, media maniacs and bookworms alike? This is your boy Media Fiend, and we are back with another episode of Media Fiend Book Club. And in this episode, we're going to dive into something a little crazy, okay? So, as y'all know, in the last episode, I let y'all know I was reading a little book that inspired two series of movies, not just a United States series, but also a Japanese series of movies about a certain videotape that kills after you watch it in 7 days. And yeah, but before we get into that, I just want to give you all that little disclaimer that, you know, your boy Media Fiend, when he gets to talking about books and video games, movies and stuff, he gets a little excited. So I may or may not give away some of what happens in the book, you know, so spoilers to say. So this will probably be a light spoiler review. So just keep in mind, if you are watching this, you haven't read the book yet, and you want to read the book before you hear the review, kind of like pause this, go read the book, and then come back. But everything beyond this point of what I'm about to tell you is kind of on you if I spoil it. I'm going to do my best not to. I'm going to do my best to kind of make it as light spoiler as possible, if, you know, no spoilers, but there probably will be some. So I just want to let y'all know that now. So without further ado, let's just dive into the review. And as I said, we're going to be talking this week about Ring by Koji Suzuki. This book is translated by Robert B. Romer and Glenn Wally. And this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive. And I think the difference between this and the regular, the Barnes & Noble exclusive and like the regular book that you can buy like off of Amazon and stuff is it comes with, like, you know, at the back of the book, it comes with kind of like, you know, advertisements for the next books and other books that authors wrote. And it also comes with the original Japanese art cover, or the first print of what the cover of the book was, the very first cover of the book. So that was what this was when it first came out. So anyways, I think that's what, because it says Barnes & Noble exclusive includes special content. I think that's what the special content is, just posters and stuff. But anyways, let's just get into the book. Okay, so the book starts off kind of like the movie does. It's this girl, but in the book, okay, before I dive too deep into the review, the book is very different from the movie. How they got what they got from the book to go into the movie, I don't know, because there was a lot of character switching. There was a lot of character swapping. It was different. Necessarily in a bad way, no, but I'll get to that later. So the book starts off, girl by herself. She's in her house. You know, she's studying. Summer's over, and, you know, she's trying to study to get into a college. And throughout this whole sequence, she's starting to feel something that's not right. She's starting to feel as if something is behind her, like a dark force is like kind of like breathing down her neck. Like she just feels eerie and uncomfortable in her own home. And she's in her kitchen, and she really feels it running rampant, almost like, if I turn around, something's going to get me. And then they cut it. And then you find out later she died. So whatever this force was, she died. Okay. And then the next scene is this kid on a motorcycle next to a cab driver. This is what I'm saying. This is weird. And he's sitting there and he's looking at this girl walking down the street, and he starts just convulsing and all this other stuff. And he falls over and he dies. And then later on, 2 kids are found in a car, and they were in the process of, you know what I'm saying, get ready to and they were end up found dead. So it turns out that these 4 teenagers, I'd say, were staying at this cabin, and they found said tape. But you don't really find out that part of the story until a little bit later, when this guy named Asakawa, he's looking for a story. He's looking for something to get, because he's a reporter. He's looking to kind of like take off, you know what I'm saying? So he's driving home. He, instead of doing his normal route home, he takes this taxi. And of course, this taxi is the taxi cab that pulled next to the kid who died just out of nowhere. And he's telling the story and stuff. And he asked him, well, what did he die of? And all these kids died of the same thing at the same time. Just sudden heart failure. The heart just stops. Okay. So he finds it interesting, and he thinks, you know, is this supernatural or whatever? So he decides to go to, he does a little bit of research and finds out that the girl from the beginning, which is his niece, he's related to this girl, and her 3 other friends went to this cabin. It kind of like in the movie, they went to this cabin for a night, and they found this tape, and, you know, he's looking, he don't know it's a tape at first, and he thinks it's just some kind of virus that they caught at this cabin. So he goes up and then he sees this tape, and he puts it and he watches it, and he realizes this is the tape that they watch. And the imagery on this tape is so different from the movie. Like, they were, like some of the stuff in this tape was just, it was almost like a fever dream almost. And he watches the tape, gets the phone call, but there's no 7 days, there's no nothing. It's just a phone call with no answer. So right there, I'm kind of like, because, you know, in the movie, it's Sadaku for the Japanese version, or it's Samara in the US version. In this, it's nothing. It's just nothing. It's just a phone ring or whatever. So he contacts a friend of his and makes a copy of this tape and lets his friend watch it. And his friend's one of these people who he's ready to watch the world burn. Like, he's not afraid of nothing. He ain't afraid of anything. He's not afraid of death. He said his dream is to watch civilization crumble and have a front row seat. He's kind of one of them people who just ain't afraid of nothing. So he watches the tape, and basically this whole book is them trying to figure out the mystery behind the tape. What is going on with this tape? Is it a supernatural force? Is it just a coincidence? And then about 100 and I want to say 60 pages in, then they start bringing up Sadaku, and then they start letting you know that this tape is related to Sadaku. Basically, the tape is kind of like seeing the world from her eyes. And like, it's just, it takes a while to get going. If you're looking for a slow burn, this is definitely something you'd be interested in. Now, I will say there are points in this that kind of drag. I'm just being honest. They drag. He put the author, while he's very masterful at descriptive writing and building this picture, he's also guilty of throwing in filler to kind of make the story last longer. Because there's some parts in this book where you're just like, what does this have to do with the story? Like, does it really need to be there? Not really. It doesn't affect the main story at all. It's like he almost tried to write a side story. I don't know. But it does take away from it a little bit. Now, I will say the ending of this book saved it for me. Now, when I say saved it for me, I don't mean like this book was horrible. I mean, this book was a slow burn. It took a little bit to get going. And like I said, with the fillers and everything, it was kind of going to be a little bit of a lower than usual grade that I normally give books. But the descriptive writing that he wrote at the end of this movie to describe the tape, to describe Sadaku's curse, was just masterful. Like, the way he described the tape is like a virus, and the virus has got to spread. The virus has got to reproduce, because he figures out, and if you watch the movie, you know the key is you have to make a copy and have somebody else watch it. But the way he described it like a virus, and the virus has to basically reproduce and spread. How far is this virus going to go? Is it going to take over all of Japan and then spread north? Like, he doesn't know, but he's willing to sacrifice the world basically to save his family, because in the book it's the same as the movie, except for in the movie it's the main character's son who watches the tape. In the book it's Ashikawa's wife and daughter, who his daughter's like a year old. His wife was sitting watching the tape with her daughter on her lap, and her daughter was watching the screen too. So, you know, now Sadaku's after this 1-year-old who has no comprehension of anything, but she was aware enough to watch the tape and look at the colors and stuff. So that was crazy. So the way he described it as a virus, that descriptive writing for me gave it a higher score for me. So with all that being said, what I would give The Ring, I would probably give The Ring a 4.5 out of 5. It was going to be a 3.8. So it's just what kept it, like I said, what kept it from being a 5-star read for me was the fact that there was too much filler at times. Like, get to the story. There's certain parts that you find out about Sadaku, which really kind of, I mean, it could have affected the story a little bit, but it didn't really need to. Like, you find out some crazy stuff about Sadaku in this book. Like, you have to read it. I don't want to give it away. So definitely read it, but you definitely find out one big thing about Sadaku in this. So, but yeah, 4.5 out of 5. Couldn't be a 5-star because, like I said, it was just, at times the filler was just too much. So, but yeah, definitely recommend you check out the book. It is a good book. It is a slow burn book. So just be prepared that you're not going to get crazy ghost story insaneness. You're basically reading a mystery thriller novel basically like a detective novel they're trying to save their lives. But it's a good book. I definitely recommend it. I'm glad I read it. Now, they do have 2 sequels to it. I will probably take a little bit of time away from this universe because, like I said, at times it was a chore to get through. So, but yeah, The Ring, check it out. It's definitely a good read. It's a decent read. If you're into really slow burns, because this could be a pretty slow burn. So, all right, The Ring. Now, the next book I'm actually reading 2 books, okay? One book is for my yearly goal of reading 20 books, which I started in August, and I'm at 11 now, or 10 or something like that. So I'm a little over halfway there, and I have about a month and a half to go. And the other book is actually a buddy read book that a friend of mine reached out and said, hey, I bought this book. Let's read it together. And I said, you know what? I'm down. Let's do it. So the first book I'm going to show you is the book that I need to complete my reading goal for 2025. And I decided to go with Wishmaster, the novelization. Now, the crazy part about this book, a little fun fact is, this is a recent book. Like, Wishmaster came back out, and I think 1997 the movie came out, and 23 years later they released a novelization. So this is a newer novelization. For some reason, back in the day, it didn't get a novelization when it first came out. I think it's called Encyclopocalypse Publications. Got an author, and they wrote it, and it's actually based off of the original screenplay by Peter Atkins, and the author is Christian Francis. So I've heard some things about this. I heard that this book takes a lot of liberties that the movie didn't, that really couldn't show on film. So I'm excited to read it. I'm excited to dive into it. It is 245 pages, I believe. Something like that. Yeah, about 245 pages, which I'm okay with. That's not a super long book. Hopefully it throws me and catches me and gets me going. So we got that. And now for the buddy read book. This one's going to take some time. That's why it's my buddy read. If I would dedicate the rest of the year to reading this, there'd be no way I could hit my goal if it was just this one that was next. So that's why I put it as my buddy read book. It's going to be a book where I'm going to concentrate on my main goal, but I'm also going to try to bust out a few pages here and there every day with it. And then maybe if I'm still reading it at the beginning of the year, it'll go on my goal for next year, because starting January, I'm going to try to read bigger books for my goal. I'm just trying to get my 20 books for this year done, and then I'll start reading bigger books for next year's goal. And my buddy read book is it's a short novel called It by Stephen King. Yeah, this thing has 1,100 and some pages, but yeah, I couldn't make this book one of my goal reading books because of it just being so big. I mean, look at that thing. Look at that thing. And I had to bust out a special bookmark for it. I don't know if you guys follow me on social, but I got Pennywise helping me out with this one. But I still got Jason. Jason's my main. Pennywise is just giving me a hand on this side read mission. So, but yeah, me and my buddy are going to read through it. He's a little bit further than me right now because I wanted to get through Ring. And it was hard at times. But yeah, I'm going to buddy read this with a good friend of mine. And like I said, if I'm still reading this by January, this is going to go as part of my goal for next year. So I don't know what I'm going to set my goal at, but I'm going to be starting from square one in January and see how many books I can go through throughout the year. It's going to be significantly higher than 20 though. But yeah, buddy read, we're doing it. So I'm excited to finish this sometime in the future. So, all right then. Now, on the more pressing matters, the giveaway. I am still hoping to do the giveaway live on Friday. What I'm thinking about doing is more than likely, is I'll probably give you guys another week to get your entries in. I will leave a description. I will leave a link in the comments or in the description to the video that tells you the rules and stuff. Now, what I will do is I will extend it. You don't have to just leave the comment on that video. If you hit my X link on my page, you can go to my X account and you can leave me a DM on X what your favorite stuff is. To kind of like, if you don't like to do it in public, you know what I mean? So that way you can leave me the comment, you can be entered, and then we'll do the giveaway. But I'm going to extend it another week. So what is it? This Friday is the 14th, I believe. So what, the 21st? Yeah. So Friday the 21st, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the giveaway right before the week of Thanksgiving. That way I can send it out and get it to the winner. So you guys got one more week to do that. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. And also, this Friday, your boy's going to be back to playing video games. I took some time off from streaming live. We've had some time off work, and I just wanted to, just spend time with the missus and kind of catch up on some reading and stuff. Kind of like take some time for myself. I wanted to recharge my batteries, because when I go back to work, it's going to be crazy. So I wanted to take some time, recharge my batteries, and just take care of myself for once. You know what I mean? So I did that. This Friday, Media Fiend Gaming back to streaming. I guess we're gonna dive into Silent Hill F because we never finished it. I don't know. I'm debating whether or not to hop into Silent Hill F or go back to the Resident Evil series that we're doing, to the Road to Requiem, Resident Evil 9 Requiem, which comes out in February. So I don't know yet. We'll decide Friday. But yeah, look out for that. Your boy's going to be back Friday. We're going to be tearing up some video games. And yeah, so all right, guys. With all that being said, I love you guys. Thank you guys. If you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button along with them bell notifications. That way when your boy Media Fiend throws up one of these book clubs or a book review or a book haul, which I got one coming here in a couple days, you're in the know. So, all right, guys. All that being said, I love you guys. Thank you, guys. Until next time, this is your boy Media Fiend saying, as always, until we meet again, be chill and we out. And because the weather's getting cold, get yourself a good book and do some reading. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Peace.